What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Panhandle Slam Outdoors. I know it's a little bit different. We're not fishing today. The weather has been crazy. It actually snowed in Florida last week, and I just haven't had a whole lot of chance to get out there and try to fish. Today I wanted to make a little video and show y'all how I make a fishing video. That way, if y'all want to try to do it yourself or whatever, you know, this video might help you out, give you some tips and tricks, things that I had to figure out when I started, and I think it will make your life a whole lot easier. So the first thing you're going to need is an action camera of some sort. This is a GoPro Hero 9. It's the first action camera that I got, and it works all right, but it does have some issues, and I did end up switching to this DJI Osmo Action 4, and in my opinion, this is just a lot better camera. But if you got any type of GoPro, really it'll work. If you've already got a GoPro, I would use it. If you haven't bought anything yet and you need to buy something, I would definitely go with the DJI Action 4, and I'll tell y'all why here in just a little bit. So one of the things with this GoPro Hero 9 is the batteries kind of suck. The battery life isn't very good at all. You're probably going to get maybe an hour out of these batteries. It also has a really bad overheating problem. If you're out there in the sun during the hot summer fishing, this thing is going to overheat a bunch, and it's going to suck. It's going to slow you down a lot. You're going to have to wait for it to cool off, and then all that time you're either not going to be fishing or not going to be recording what you're catching. So that's a big thing, and it really aggravates me a lot when I was trying to use this one. The advantage with this one is exactly the opposite. The batteries last about twice as long. I'd say they probably last about 2 hours, and it doesn't overheat nearly as much. It still will. If it's real hot out there, it will still overheat, but it does a lot better job at not overheating. So now that you got your cameras, you're going to need to get an SD card for the cameras and a micro SD card. That's going to look something like that right there. This is a 256 gigabyte, and it doesn't really matter what brand, but you're going to want to look at your model of camera, type it in on Google, and figure out the recommended SD cards for that camera and get that, because you're going to have a lot less issues if you just go ahead and get the right one for your camera. And it probably wouldn't be a bad idea at all to go ahead and get a couple SD cards. That way, if you forget to delete your footage or if you run out of space, you can always have more. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is batteries. Like I said, these GoPro batteries kind of suck. You can get them for about $30 a piece. I think this camera came with one, but you can get the individual batteries for about 30 bucks a piece, and then GoPro makes a charging case that's 50 bucks, maybe something like that. What I did with the GoPro is I got this Amazon charging case. It came with 2 off-brand batteries and this case right here, so I could charge 3 batteries at one time. And the batteries, I'd say they're not quite as good as the regular GoPro, so they don't even last quite that long, but it will get you by. And if you just need some cheap batteries, you can, you know, load up on these and it'll do all right. But now what I really prefer is a external battery pack like this, if you can get away with it. This is an Anker. I'm not sure the size. All the writing has worn off of it. You can hook this up via USB-C straight to your camera, and this is going to give you about like 5 or 6 hours compared to having to constantly swap out those batteries. So I use this for a really long time, and it works very good. Now for the DJI, I also use this battery pack for a while for the DJI, but like I said, those batteries last quite a bit longer. So what I've started to do is use these regular batteries. And as y'all can see, I got this charging case with 3 of them. So this is going to give me about 6 hours of footage. Then I have the one in my camera, so we're looking at about 8 hours. You know, that's usually all I'm going to need. But this charging case right here is really nice. And as y'all can see, it's got a couple little spots up there for SD cards too. So that's really nice, and that's what I've been doing here lately with the DJI. Now that you got your camera, your batteries, and your SD cards, you're going to need a way to attach the camera to yourself. You can get a chest mount. A lot of people use. I'm not a fan of it, especially for kayak fishing, because it's going to be looking straight ahead. So if you're casting over here and looking over here, you're not going to get that on camera. What I like to use for a kayak especially is a head-mounted GoPro mount, and all it is just a little elastic strap. You see, you put that GoPro in there like that, put it on your head, get it aiming the right way, and wherever you look, that GoPro is going to pick it up. This is about 25 bucks, I think, and I definitely prefer this mount right here over any other one, really. So back to the battery. To be able to attach this battery to your head, this external battery, what I did was I put these Velcro straps right here, and you can zip tie it too if you want to. But you just slide it in like this, right there on the side of the strap. So then you're gonna take this cord right here, and also you can get this replacement door right here for the GoPro, and it's got that little hole in it. You just pop this one out like that. You can put this one on. That's going to give you a hole to put this cord in right here. Pop that in there, and then you're going to have, like I said, about 6 hours of record time. It's a little bit uncomfortable at first, and you look a little bit crazy with it up here on your head, but honestly, I've kind of got used to it, and it's not a big deal, and it does work really good. So this is a really good option to not have to mess with the batteries. What I started doing with the DJI is I've got this hat right here, and they make these little mounts that go inside like that, and it allows you to mount a GoPro to the front of it. Got that on Amazon for like 25-30 bucks probably. Put it on this old hat. Another feature that I really like about this DJI camera is it's got this magnetic clamp right here. So to put the camera on, you just put it on just like that. Put this on my head, and as y'all can see, it's up there. Start recording whatever. So say my battery dies, all I've got to do is reach up here, take that off, go up in here, pull the battery out, swap it in, turn it back on, clip it back to my head, and I'm good to go. I can do that in like, a couple minutes compared to having to take this screw out and take the whole thing off. It's just kind of a pain in the butt to do it with a regular GoPro. And that's why I started using this hat mount right here. It's just it's a little bit more lightweight and a little bit more comfortable than the head strap. All right, so now you're out there, you got your cameras going, you're recording everything. Another big thing you're gonna wanna look at is audio quality. In my opinion, audio quality is very important, and there's not a whole lot of information out there on how to get good audio quality out of these GoPros. And I went through a lot of different things trying to figure out the best way to get the best audio quality out of it. So with this regular GoPro right here, I tried all sorts of weird things. I got this adapter, which plugs in USB-C, and then it has a auxiliary port and a USB-C in port right there. And I tried to take this, and I got this microphone off of Amazon. It's called a purple Panda microphone. I'm not going to take it all the way out. It's got that big furry thing on there to help with the wind. Basically, you plug that into here and into your GoPro. It's supposed to work. It never really worked right for me. I had some issues, I think, with the port, and it never was getting a good connection, and I never actually was able to make a full video with it not coming disconnected, so it didn't work at all for me. And this thing's like 50 bucks. It's really expensive for this stupid little adapter right here. So that's one way you can do it. You can also get a media mod for the GoPro, and that's going to basically do the same thing. It's a little enclosure that goes around the GoPro, and it also has like a little bit enhanced microphone on the media mod. I don't think it's worth it. I think it still sounds like trash with that media mod microphone, so I really wouldn't go that way at all. What I would do, what I ended up doing, is get you one of these Windslayers right here for a GoPro. You can get them off Amazon. They're about 10 bucks, I believe. And all it is this little foam case filter that goes over your GoPro, and I'll show you. There it is, and that's going to cover up the microphones on this GoPro, and you're not going to get the wind noise that you would get without it. Because if you go out there with nothing, just the GoPro audio, the quality of the audio is probably going to be horrible because of the wind, and it's pretty much makes it like unbearable to watch. So you get this little thing right here, and that'll do the trick. The only thing I don't like about this is, especially if you're running an external battery pack, it's not that bad, because you can just put it on there with the external battery pack and you don't really got to worry about it. Now if you're not doing the external battery pack and you got to change the batteries, it's kind of a pain in the butt. Take this all apart, then you gotta try to strip this case away, open it up, put another battery in, put this thing back on. It's just kind of a pain in the butt. So I preferred using this when I was using the external battery pack along with it. That way I didn't never have to really mess with it. Now this is the main reason that I ended up upgrading to the DJI Action Osmo 4. I think that's what it's called. You can get this microphone with it. This is actually the microphone that I'm using to record all this right now. And it's a little teeny, it's not teeny, but it's a little Bluetooth microphone. So this camera has the capabilities to connect this microphone via Bluetooth straight to this camera. That makes everything so much simpler. Takes away all the wires, because if you put that purple Panda mic that I had right here, you try to throw all this on your head, you got a mess. You're gonna look crazy out there. So this is all you got right here. And I'll show you all exactly how I usually have this set up and how easy and simple it is. So this has been my setup here lately, and it's way more simple than anything else I found. You don't got no wires up here. You got your microphone clipped to the side, no wires going to it. And when you press record, it'll activate the microphone. Like I said, change the batteries, just pop that down, pop it out, pop a new one in. And when you put a new one in, you're going to want to turn this camera on. You're going to want to wait for this microphone to connect again. But anyways, that just makes it so much more simple and clean. This is the best thing that I've found by far for getting good audio quality, long battery life, good footage. I mean, from my little bit of experience, and I'm not an expert at this by any means. I just started making these fishing videos in August, but I do think I've got a pretty good understanding on how to make a decent fishing video and make it pretty good quality. So this is definitely the way that I would go right here. Now you're gonna spend a little bit of extra money. I'll try to find links for all of this stuff in the description, but this microphone right here is about $100. And I think when I bought this camera, I got a kit that came with this, and it was like $400 maybe, a little bit pricey. But like I said, if you haven't already bought a GoPro and you're kind of serious about making these videos, it's really just gonna be the best bet to spend the money and get this set up right here and not have to worry about nothing. Like I said, the foam filter will work pretty good, but this is gonna give you really good audio quality right here. All right, so now for actually filming the video, I'm gonna show you all the settings that I like to use on these action cameras, and it's gonna be pretty much the same for the GoPro and the DJI. As y'all can see right here, you get up in here and you can click it right there, and that'll bring up the options. I know you can't probably see that very good. What I like to use is, I've been using 4K lately, 4K and 30 frames per second, and that's gonna give you really good video. It's gonna give you really quality video. I was doing 1080p and 30 frames per second, and honestly that was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. The only reason I really switched to 4K was because it puts the little 4K thing on your videos on YouTube, and I like the way it looks. I think it looks more official. So you can either do 1080, 30 frames per second, or 4K, 30 frames per second. It doesn't really matter. But it's gonna have a looping mode of some sort. They're a little bit different, but on this one, you got loop recording. So you're gonna wanna do 5-minute loop recording. And what that's gonna do is when you put this thing on your head and you press record, it's gonna record for as long as you want, but once it gets past 5 minutes, it's gonna start overwriting that footage. So it's gonna save a lot of space on your SD cards. It's gonna save you a lot of time going in there and editing everything, but you have to remember, if you want something to save, you gotta click that and you gotta save it. Because if you forget to, it's gonna erase everything. It's only going to keep the last 5 minutes of footage. So that's definitely the way to do it, but you got to be careful. I've lost some really good footage and nice fish because I forgot to clip it. They also got a 20-minute loop option. So maybe if you're fighting bigger fish or something like that, that might be the way to go. And they also got an hour long, or you just don't have to use it at all. That's what I do. And with this DJI in particular, I think GoPro has this too. They have horizon balancing, and that's going to keep the camera looking level. So like, even if I'm holding it like this, and I don't know if y'all can see that. Anyways, it's going to keep the camera level. So when you're tilting your head and stuff, it's not going to look all crazy. So I put that on too. That's basically the settings that I use for recording on the GoPro and the DJI. Well, I think that's going to wrap this video up. I really hope y'all enjoyed it. I would have loved to have posted a fishing video today, but sometimes things just don't work out. And I figured this would be a nice video in case somebody is wanting to do this themselves, which I highly suggest. It's a lot of fun. Kind of gets you going and make it a little bit easier, because it took me a long time of trial and error just going out there, and sometimes I had a great day and the footage was just horrible or the audio was horrible, so I couldn't use it. So I had to figure out a lot of things and kind of learn the little tips and stuff. And I just wanted to pass them on to anyone who's trying to get started in this, make your life a whole lot easier. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I post new fishing content every week around the Gulf Coast of Florida. So if you like that type of content, definitely consider subscribing. We'll see y'all next time.